Let's talk more about South Korea's political situation with Mr. Lee Jun-suk, former leader of the People Power Party and a founder of the New Reform Party, joining us live from Seoul this morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. South Korea went through a lot over the last few weeks or so. Martial law, impeachment, and impeachment of the acting president as well. And then just this week, the arrest of President Yoon. However, polls are showing a bit of a rebound for conservatives at the moment, for Yoon himself as well as his party. What do you think is driving that?
Well, we have experienced the impeachment in the past before, and then back then it was President Park Geun-hye, and back then it was our first actual impeachment, so we were kind of shaking. And then back then the people were uncertain that impeachment was going to happen. But this time it's the declaration of martial law, which is a little more serious, and people do believe that impeachment is going to happen for sure. So people are now looking into the future and looking at the next upcoming presidential election. And the recent poll numbers have been shaking because people think that martial law declaration was wrong, but at the same time, they see the leader, top leading presidential candidate Lee Jae-myung is not a good fit for the next president. So the numbers are shaking in that manner.
I don't know if you were able to see the footage that we were just playing. Some of the supporters of Yoon holding up the slogan that says, "Stop the steal." And of course, we're talking about these election rigging allegations that Yoon, as well as conservative YouTubers, are raising. In fact, you said that President Yoon is addicted to watching YouTube and these ultra right-wing YouTubers. You see no merit in that? Absolutely no merit?
So this all started from this conspiracy about election fraud, as you mentioned. And so all this the madness started when Yoon lost his general election last year. And it was like a decisive loss. Say, out of the 300 seats, he won a mere 108 seats. So he had no way to actually run the government without the support from the parliament. So, and some of the ruling party members started to deviate from his faction, and those gathered under the Yoon's former subordinate Han Dong-un. This was one of the key reasons Yoon lost his temper. And then he tried to find a way to overthrow this slanted landscape in the parliament. And that's the reason he started looking into election fraud, and that was the reason for his declaration of martial law. So, I mean, the whole conspiracy doesn't make any sense at all, but it led to our martial law declaration. Yeah.
All right. Mr. E. Martin here. Great to see you and a pleasure having you on the show. So, you know, Yoon likes to watch right-wing YouTube videos. You have been described as a right-wing firebrand as well. And just a month ago, back in December, you were quoted saying that you would run for president if Yoon's impeachment is upheld. Do you still feel that way?
Right. I'm pretty sure that Yoon is going to be impeached at the Constitutional Court. At the same time, Yoon's impeachment does not mean that Korean conservative faction as a whole was problematic. It was just a madman in power, exerting all his weird strengths. And then there needs to be some faction to substitute that, the old conservative faction. So I think I'm a good fit for that.
What would be the major campaign platform that you'll be running on? How ready are you, as well as other conservative lawmakers? And really, it's fragmented at the moment. So that's why I asked you this.
Well, 3 years ago, when I got elected the president of and the chairman of the People Power Party, people were focusing on how I can interact with the younger generation of Korea, who are a little different from the older conservatives of Korea, because the younger generation, they believe that we were born in a developed Korea, and we are like the potential leader for the developed Korea. And whereas the older generation believe that they were born in a developing Korea, and they always wanted to get exempt from all the orders of the international community. And now we believe that the younger generation of Korea can do better with the international community. So that's my one of the big goals that I have here. Yeah.
When you're running and thinking about the next presidency in South Korea, no matter what happens, how do you think South Korea should navigate its relations with the United States and China? Because looking at the current political divide, it's very just U.S. on one side, China on the other, conservatives on that side, and progressives on the other. How South Korea should position will really dictate its future.
So it really depends on generation, because older generation, they still believe that we are, we thank the U.S. for participating in the Korean War. That's just people in their 60s and 70s. People in their 40s and 50s, they think a little different. They believe that for our economy, it is really important for us to get along well with China. But at the same time, people in their 20s and 30s, they believe that the Chinese method within the international sphere doesn't really fit their demands. And at the same time, I remember I was in the 2019 Hong Kong democratization movement. I actually visited Hong Kong to see what was going on. And I personally thought that the way the China dealt with the situation doesn't really seem to fit how Korean people think about democracy. So definitely there's a generational divide. And well, the younger generation, at least, they believe that China is not acting the way they think democracies should work, you know.
Mr. Yi, you were ousted, right, from President Yoon's party, the PPP, People Power Party. Now you set up your own, the New Reform Party, which is, you describe yourselves as moderately conservative. You only have 1% of the seats in the National Assembly, right? Just 3 seats. Where do you see your base right now? Describe the average person who is one of your either party members or supporters. Who would he or she be?
The younger generation at least, and then at the same time, people who really do care about, say, all these changes to our tech and IT and AI and all these buzzwords that's coming up. I mean, the younger generation who are really sensitive to these kind of changes should be our supporters, and they are actually strongly supporting our party. So, and in the future, we want to expand it to a broader audience. But yeah, I mean, in order to win the presidential election, we need to at least get, say, 40% or more popular votes. So we're going to try to expand that, yeah.
Do you think we're sort of stuck in this cycle of political divide and impeaching the country's leader? I mean, just a few years ago, we saw another conservative leader getting impeached and really get that decision being validated. Even if we move on from this martial law saga, do you think South Korea can recover from that?
Well, a hole was found in our democratic system. We were vulnerable to a madman holding presidential power. This doesn't mean that our system has significant flaws. I believe in Korean democracy's innate capabilities to recover itself. I mean, we have done it before several times, and we were always successful. And the investors overseas need not worry about the economic stability of Korea, and tourists need not worry about the security of our country. Invest in Korea and visit Korea, and I think we are going to recover this time again, yeah.
Okay, that's optimistic. Mr. Yi, great to talk to you. Appreciate your time. Thank you. Pleasure having you on the show. Take care, keep warm, and hope to see you again very, very soon. Thank you for this morning. Yi Jun-suk there from the New Reform Party, and also my great colleague Sherry Kang, part of the conversation. We'll take a quick break. Squawk is back in 2.